Hello and welcome back to the Pro Football Historian channel. I am your host, Flint Given. Today we'll be reviewing the Super Bowl and the Rams and Bengals. The game obviously ended in a 23-20 game. Rams came back at the end on a touchdown, and the Bengals could not finish their drive and get a field goal or a touchdown. And the Rams came out victorious. The game started off with I believe on the second drive, maybe third drive, Rams went down the field. Odell Beckham caught a touchdown pass from Matthew Stafford. The Bengals late in the first get a field goal after they couldn't get it, in the end zone or in the red zone. Though the Rams respond with another touchdown, but this one would unfortunately only result in 6 since Hecker, Johnny Hecker couldn't get the ball spotted for the kicker. And then ultimately threw the pass. It was intercepted. It was not returned for a touchdown, though, or 2 points. And then later in the second, a halfback pass, Joe Mixon throws to T. Higgins, resulting in a 13-10 game. At this point, they go in the half 13-10. Stafford at this point, had an interception. It was basically a punt almost, just thrown in the end zone deep. Joe Burrow and the Bengals didn't turn over the ball, at least in the first half. In the second half, immediately T. Higgins 75-yard touchdown on a questionable questionable non-call, where Jalen Ramsey basically got face masked by T. Higgins on the reception or on the point of the catch. And then Higgins ran all the way for a touchdown, the longest pass Ramsey's given up in the NFL. And he ultimately didn't have a great day even besides that play. Maybe in his worst game of his career. Either way, they get a touchdown. Then immediately after first pass, Stafford throws. It's picked off. It goes right off Skoranik's hands. Right into, might have been a Woozie. Chidobe Awuzie. So then they get another field goal off that after Donald got 2 sacks. One was a 1-yard sack. Basically, Burrow just got pushed out of bounds. And from that point, the game kind of changed. It went into a defensive, fight between these teams, defensive battle. Ultimately, later in the third, the Rams got a field goal at least, and then took until the very end. A lot of sacks in the second half. Miller, I believe, had 2. I don't know if I'm going to be able to figure it out. There's no information actually. Yeah, so Von Miller and Aaron Donald both got 2, like I thought. Ernest Jones got another. Robinson and Floyd also got a sack. Bengals could not protect. It seemed like the main adjustment was they would line up someone over the center to not be able to chip on Donald, and then they would just do stunts and twists and stuff like that. And the Bengals just no answer for it. Didn't have the talent on the offensive line to be able to pick it up, and basically held the Bengals to basically a couple yards of play this game. If you take out the 175-yard touchdown, basically 2 big plays that went for over 100 yards. Besides that, I don't think they got 100 on the rest of the plays in the game. There was a big drop by Boyd, the first one of the year for Tyler Boyd. And then the Rams got at the very end, got a touchdown. The Bengals had about a minute and 25 to get any kind of points and moved down the field decently well after Ramsey gave up another play where he tried to jump the ball, which ultimately he did not pick it. And I believe that was the chase for about 15 yards or so. Actually, you could probably look right here. But they did come down to a 4th down after the Bengals had a 2nd and 1. I think it was incomplete. Then P. Ryan run. Then ultimately Donald got the pressure at the end of the game. and Burrow just had to throw it up, and it landed incomplete. The Rams kneeled it, and the game ended in a 23-20 game. I mean, there was some controversial calls that led to the Rams touchdown. Um, I would say the Logan Wilson was probably the one that most people were talking about. I mean, it probably shouldn't have been called, especially how the game was refed for most of the part. But you could say the touchdown they had in the third quarter shouldn't happen. So, I thought it was ref wise, it was decent, and I didn't think it decided the game. Even if it didn't call Logan Wilson penalty, they still had a 4th down and 8. And you don't know what happens after that. But the Rams had also 3 timeouts, so they could have got the ball. Still a lot that could have happened if it didn't go. If it wasn't even called the penalty, which it was. Anyway, I thought it was a pretty good Super Bowl. I know it was a defensive game for the most part, a couple of big plays, but I like this kind of game. It was competitive the entire time, close the entire time. Never was more than, I think the biggest point was the early second quarter where it was 13-3. Besides that, it was a 7-point game most of the time, 4-point game. So can't ask for much more. I like this kind of game more than some of these other Super Bowls where people like the Falcons Patriots Super Bowl. The game wasn't competitive for almost 3 full quarters. Like, I don't know. It's not my favorite kind of Super Bowl. This, it was competitive the entire time. I know a lot of people like the Eagles Patriots Super Bowl. That was not bad either. I mean, the Eagles did jump out ahead a little bit, but that was a pretty good Super Bowl. I thought this was a pretty good Super Bowl. It was a lot more defense than probably most people would want, but I'm fine with that. And obviously now the Bengals were the 31st pick and the Rams were the 32nd. Actually, they won't have the 32nd pick because they traded it to the Lions. Either way, Bengals' future, the division's going to come back. It's going to be pretty tough, you would think, next year. And the AFC is just tough. For the Rams, I don't know how good the San Francisco will be if they have Trey Lance as starter, but that's still a team they have to worry about. Packers, obviously, they play them once. They haven't shown they can beat them. We don't know what the Tampa Bay quarterback situation is. You still got some other decent teams in the division like Seattle with Russell Wilson currently, Kyler Murray. And they obviously have that contract situation going on now. So, and there's some other teams like Saints, depending on the quarterback and stuff like that. So NFC's a little bit more open for the Rams to repeat. But I don't see him. Von Miller is going to be a free agent. Although Beckham will be, I think they want to sign Beckham more than Von Miller for whatever reason. They gave up some assets to get Miller, but it paid off ultimately. They won the Super Bowl. Now let's move on to the news. This is just an injury update for Metcalf. More front office news for the Jags. They're going to keep endorsing Tannehill as the starter. Guess the only one that take over from Tannehill would be in like an Aaron Rodgers or something, which I don't see happening, but possible. Antonio Pierce is the linebacker coach, former Giant linebacker. Here's some other minor news. Looks like Kenza Kiki, former Packers, going to the Texans. And Denver claimed the punter and stuff. These quarterback situations, a lot's going to change. Maybe not as much as we expect, but stuff's going to change. Torn ACL for Odell Beckham. You don't know how much it's going to affect him going next year, especially contract-wise. People are thinking Jason Pierre-Paul is going to leave Tampa Bay. Frank Smith will be the offensive coordinator for the Dolphins. Looks like he came from the Raiders. And Adrian Peterson, domestic violence. He has that situation with the stick against his, hitting his kid with. So, don't know what happened, but obviously not good for him. Calais Campbell looked like he's going to return, not retire. Eric Weddle is retiring, coming out of retirement and getting a ring though. Looks like Mike Pettin's going to be the Vikings. Going to help out somewhere. Wentz's future's in doubt with the Colts. They're going to try to trade him. I don't know if they say they might cut him, but it's going to be a $15 million cap hit if they cut him. So I don't know. And they're looking to win now, and they're looking to get a long-term answer for their quarterback position. Carter's future, I think he's probably going to stay. From Miller Adeline, I think he's going to probably leave, but wouldn't be surprised if he stays, obviously. Nick Lombardi, offense coordinator for the Raiders. I believe this is going to be all the news I have. Again, thanks for watching. Appreciate it. Hope everyone enjoyed the Super Bowl. I'm going to now the scouting combine and all that. I'll have some more videos probably later this Friday, and then we might do 3 a week video-wise on each team's off-season preview, overview, whatever you want to call it. I'm going to look into every team's future. Again, appreciate watching, and subscribe if you haven't. And I'll talk to you guys later.